Hi. Today we got to deal with the sun, and the sun is the most important thing in the whole horoscope. I mean, the moon's important, each one's important, but we come out of our mothers, we got to grow up, we got to develop our nutrition, our health, we got to grow and get our living habits together. Then we develop our mind and our thinking. Then we evolve our values and our emotions. But finally, we come to our confidence, our radiance. So if you put if you put the sun in one hand and it's this big medicine ball, and it's this big medicine ball. Well, this would be a big, huge medicine ball. You can hold this huge medicine ball in one hand. Oops. But you could close your hands around all the planets together. All the planets would be like a handful of maybe nine sesame seeds or 9 raisins at most, and the sun is this huge, big medicine ball. So when it comes to the question of what's the priority, the sun is the priority. It's one of the reasons why sun sign astrology and just working with sun signs still has value, because it's dealing with the main factor of somebody and where someone's supposed to grow and become. So it's still, I mean, all of astrology, because it applies to people. You can know a little bit about it, and if you use that little bit well, it can still be useful to another person. So this is why there's so many different levels and different ways of people working with astrology. Even the popular astrology, where people just know sun signs and are just talking about, they're hardly talking about the depth of it, but they're still aligning themselves and improving their alignment to their own energies. So it's still a useful area, and we're always increasing our literacy in astrology. There's always something we hadn't seen, something, one more, oh, I can include that, or oh, that goes to that. We're always doing that. From the beginning, we start learning the language of the stars. It's layers and layers and insights, and you pick up something from everyone. Even if you go see someone and they're the worst possible astrologer you can imagine, you're sitting there, what am I doing? You listen to it, and usually they're going to say at least one thing you're either going to be totally mad about, or you get at least one thing that opens something up, or it opens up a way, wow, that you gain from. So the sun is, I like the word confidence. I use the sun as your confidence, and or lack of confidence if you're not shining brightly enough. But it's, a lot of people say it's your creativity, well, or your willpower, just your power of being alive, the will to do something, the will for your heart to beat, to be able to make things go. And when it's healthy, it's a very powerful process. When your heart isn't shining, I mean, Venus is attraction and repulsion, but the sun is kind of like your ability to love and radiate. It can be a little bit arrogant. It can be pushing things too brightly. Here I am, but it's still shining. It still has a power. It's not muscle power like Mars. It has the power to radiate, to shine, to heal. It has light. All the other planets just have the reflected light of the sun, or we wouldn't see them. But the sun is the source of the light. So Mercury is always close to the sun. Venus is always fairly close to the sun, and the Earth, from the Earth, they all go around it, but we see it like pendulums, like the Mercury and Venus are like pendulums going to one side or another around the sun, and as we go around it. I mean, we really see how many years old are you? How many cycles of the sun have you experienced? You know, like, I'm so many years old, I'm this many years old, I'm too many years old to mention, you know, like, I'm so old, like, or I just starting, like, in a way, I think of Christian, the sun is like your heart, your confidence, your heart beating. And in a certain way, it's like love, because you don't get love, you give love. Oh, if someone would only love me, really, it's you not loving. It's you doubting. So this puzzle is not mental or rational, it's not attraction, repulsion, it's just blatant being, just radiating. So there's a really strong power. It's a really strong sense of importance in this of the sun in your chart. It's the most important thing. It's that big kid screaming. That big kid just as you, but it's here I am. Don't look too close or you're going to get blinded by how much I really am. So it has its style in each sign at each time of the year. I mean, the whole zodiac's based on the sunlight and the radiation of the sunlight through the seasons, the changing ratio of day to night each day across the year. And the houses are based on the light and the changes of light across it in the hours across a day. Everything is just a reflection, a mirror, an extension of this sunlight. So when you get right to your heart or right to your sunlight or right to your purpose, it goes almost beyond the signs, the houses. Well, those are just embellishments that somewhat put it in perspective, but it's a huge, powerful force. So I think we would see it. Sun, in a way, you could say the sun is your ego. I'm me, the I. I'm me. I'm doing this. Here I am. Da 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 da. Like I am me. This is it. I am light. I'm power. You know. But in that light and power comes our creative expression. How creative are you? How radiant are you? How confident are you? Wow. Okay. So we're all born. We come out of our mothers. So we spend X amount of time in the womb. We come out of our mothers. And we run into the backyard. We run into the rest. We come out of our backyard, out of our mothers. We're in our house. We come out into the backyard eventually. We run into the rest of the world. And it's not exactly like we think Mercury it is, or like we want it to be. But it's certainly a playground that we can go out and play in, for better or worse. It's different if you're born in the middle of a war zone. You know, like all the different circumstances in which the sun can still shine, which confidence still can be gained, even in the middle of great horrors and great difficulties in life. So we're always trying to be our sun. We're always trying to be more. We're always trying to burn brighter where our sun is. Really, it's not where our sun is. Our sun is burning brightly all the time. There's clouds, there's weather, there's things that filter it a little bit. It doesn't mean that when it's a snowy night outside and there's clouds all over, it doesn't mean the sun's shining any less. We just have filters between us and it. So in many ways, our desires are filters that filter out how much sunlight we can see, because we want to put an agenda of I want this, I want that, or I don't want this. It's important that I don't have this, or that was important, I didn't get that, or I will have to have that. So Venus comes up and claims her importance, but she puts a filter on just the clear power of the sun. She puts a condition on it. Mercury, the mind, the way we're thinking, we want to interpret it this way, we want it to go this way, I'm going this way, I'm going to, it tends to put a filter on how clearly we see the sun. And our moods and our feelings and our basic needs and our families and our habits, they put a filter on how much we can see the sun. So the spiritual work in life is to get good habits, get rid of the bad habits, get good thoughts or get rid of the thoughts, to be alert and thinking and being alert clearly, and to get rid of the desires and be detached from lusts and passions and just get clear. Because if your mind is clear and your values are open and your habits are good, the sun will just shine and pour forth and you'll see it. It's something everyone can do. It's your spiritual path. But, whoa, it's easy to say. And you might get it for a moment, and then the moods come back. Oh, I need a Coke, or oh, I need something to eat, or I'm bored, I gotta do this. All these other things come in. So even when we get it for a moment, it's hard to have it completely all the time. It's there all the time, but we add things to it. And adding things to everything, it kind of diminishes the everything. So how could contentment's Venus? Clear thinking, at peace is your mind. Being healthy is your moon. But your sun is the confidence. Someone could be really sick and still have a certain confidence. Someone could be thinking, like you can be thinking any which way and still have a confidence, but usually the Mercury will align to some degree with the confidence. And you can want this or not want this, not want that, and still have real confidence that you're sure you're right about what you're doing. You're sure you can do this. You're empowering it. So the sun can empower Mercury and Venus and the moon. It puts its light on it. It empowers. It's a steady influence. But it can empower if Mercury or Venus or the moon is off or wrong or poor choices, wrong thinking, wrong living. It's going to empower the wrong things. So the sun doesn't discriminate. The sun just shines its light. There it is. And it just keeps pouring it on. Occasionally there's sunstorm, there's sunspots and flares, and extra energy comes in, but it's surgings of energies. And the other planets are working with it or against it. Are you trying to use it for themselves or trying to align to get to it? So sometimes the sun can seem like the most arrogant presence. It's the most arrogant you can possibly. I'm me. Don't you think I'm so wonderful? Like just so many places where we draw attention to ourselves. We're so confident. We're it. Here we are. I'm it. That's the sun. Okay, and then we remember those moments and we think about those moments and we want to get those moments back. And we build up a whole bunch of things trying to make the same moment happen again, when the sun's always been creative in new and different ways. So in the world, it's our ego to do things, our willpower. Not everybody, ego is seemingly just as strong as each other. Everybody has power, has willpower, has clarity, is the answer to the universe at the moment they're born, in the place that they're born. That's our chart. The moment we're born and the place we're born, we are the answer to the balance of the universe at that moment. But boy, we go past it, we're moving past it, we're going on to things, and it takes more and more effort the older we get to maintain the integrity of who we are and to keep our purpose clear. And it gets complicated because there's billions of other purposes out there. Everything that's alive, everything with a heartbeat has a sun, has a horoscope.